You lost about 90, 100 pounds, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 90 pounds in 1 year.
How'd you do that?
I knew I needed to become more. Working out is a very simple thing. It's not easy, but it's simple. Then they get hit in the face with the alarm, they snooze, then little by little, and then they're right where they started.
People are walking with their heads held high because of you.
Don't chase, I need money to pay the bills. I need to find 5 lives. I need to change these lives. I need to do this. That equals that.
And that's what this is about. So what's going on, everybody? So on today's show, we have none other than Cisco Garcia in the house. What's going on, Cisco? What's going on?
Extremely happy and thankful to be here. Thankful for the opportunity and excited to share some gems with you guys.
So this is your first in-person podcast.
First time ever. Yes,
Man, that's super amazing because, like, I remember the first time I went on a podcast, and I still haven't been on many. Okay. Nobody invites me. I don't know. Whatever.
Hey, you're called to host them.
We're the hosts. Yeah. I don't mind, but it was nerve-wracking, you know?
Right.
But all the guests we've had, the ones that have, like, kind of the hardest time are the ones that are not themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm glad you're here.
I'm excited.
You know, so if you guys don't know who Cisco is, Cisco's big on fitness, huge on fitness. Let's talk about that. So I know you had this transformation. I've seen some pictures from you. I'm going through a transformation myself, but you're much further along. And you lost about 90, 100 pounds, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 90 pounds in 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
Well, I mean, how'd you do that?
Well, man, it's kind of like, it's been, first of all, my biggest accomplishment, the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. And pretty much it all started with the man upstairs, God. It all begins there. I was in a stage in my life where I had kind of deviated, started walking my own routes. And the man up there put his finger on me. And I'm a firm believer that the second the Lord puts his finger on you, you're not going anywhere. And I was kind of in that spot where for the first time I was forced to, I kind of like hit a wall where like I didn't want to go I couldn't go any further that way. It was kind of like my rock bottom, so to speak. And I just knew that something needed to change. I didn't know how, when, if. I had no ideas how it was going to happen. But I just knew that things needed to change. I knew I needed to become more. And kind of the circumstances that presented themselves in front of me just forced me to level up, to take care of myself, to change, and for the better. And that ended up resulting in just living a life beyond my wildest dreams completely.
When you say you were like hitting rock bottom, can you elaborate on it? Like, were you like going through something really a hard time in your life? Like, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
What's, you know?
Oh, well, rock bottom looks different for a lot of people.
Totally.
For me, I was raised in a Catholic home. My mom took me to church as I grew up. I just never had my own personal relationship with the Lord. And once I'm from Puerto Rico, born and raised. I went to school in Des Moines, Iowa. So when I went over there for 4 years, cold, boring, not a lot of things to do.
Complete change.
So, right, ended up making not the best decisions and ended up kind of like steering away, walking my own way, separated from the Lord. The Lord was always present in my life, though. It was always like I felt like something was watching over me, something was caring for me, but I was just not reaching back to it. There was no connection. And partying, drugs, drug abuse, pornography abuse, just like my mental health just had taken a toll by the poor decisions that I was making on myself.
How old were you at this time?
It all probably started around 22, right as I was finishing college up. As I was finishing college, because all the 3 years of partying had added up.
So you went to college in Idaho?
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa, I'm sorry.
Iowa, yeah. I played volleyball over there. I ended up being like a JV player, so I wasn't getting like playing time. So that's where I was like the ego in me was like, then I'm going to go party. You know, I'm going to go do this. And those 3 years added up. Then after college, I get hit with the reality of life. Like life hit me in the face. I thought, you get a degree, you go get a job. What if? But no. I ended up moving back to Puerto Rico and I got a job in the restoration industry. So Puerto Rico had a big hurricane in 2017. And after that, there was a lot of restoration companies over there. My friend found a job with one and ended up, they were done in Puerto Rico. They were going to California for the wildfires. Was that the one where it
wiped out the electrical grid?
Yep, that one, that big hurricane.
Yeah.
So just God moving pieces around, like it's crazy. And I ended up getting a job with a restoration company. I ended up traveling for a year. And it was just a year where I was lost. I had just left this persona behind, that image, that identity that I built for myself in college of like the party guy, like the cool guy, to now working a job, an extremely intense, hard labor. It showed me how to be a man, though. It showed me how to show up on time, how to be consistent, how to be disciplined, I had to leave things behind because those things would interfere in my work performance.
Yeah.
And that's when things kind of got better in order. I go back to Puerto Rico, and same. I kept escaping like my reality with like the partying, the drugs, just going out all the time, and just trying to fill out that void that we all have inside of us. Just trying to fill it up by myself, just with whatever I could find.
What's crazy is like this happens to a lot of people. Is you're living this great life. You're in a university. You're a jock.
Yeah.
You know, don't matter what sport. You're a jock. You're fit.
Right.
You know, and yet you're struggling mentally.
Right. And I saw that happen in different chapters of my life.
Yeah.
Because then after I finished my season in Puerto Rico, I had a girlfriend at the time who her family lived here in Arizona. She was from Iowa, so I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to Iowa, so we're moving to Arizona with her family. That's how I ended up here. I ended up moving here, had the job that I wanted. I got a job with the same restoration company, was driving the car that I wanted, was living in the apartment that I wanted, and still inside just dead. Dead. And I got here around June, July, spent about a year here working, grinding.
Wait, when June, July of when?
2019, right?
Okay.
Right, pre-pandemic.
So you're in Puerto Rico for almost 2 years, about a year and a half.
Year and a half, correct.
Yeah.
Traveling in and out of it.
Yeah.
Once I move over here, that year goes by, COVID, everything starts, and I drove up to this magical place called Sedona. I had no idea what was up there. Now you hear frequency, vibrations, and healing, and sacred place and whatnot. Completely unknown to me at the time. I was just going up to Sedona for the weekend. And I ended up driving to Chapel on the Hill, the Chapel of the Holy Cross, not knowing that it was there, zero idea, just drive up to it. And I'm like, let's go in there. Walk in, see this huge image, this huge cross, beautiful
Dude,
place.
I've never been there. I never even heard of it.
You have to go.
I'm born and raised there. I never heard of it.
Dude, it is an amazing place. It's up on the rocks. Somebody built like something majestic up there.
I'm going to have to go there.
Yeah, you have to.
Send me the link later.
You have to. I got you. The second I walk in that place, I see it's got a huge Christ or Jesus Christ on the cross. Like I'm talking about 20 feet tall. Like huge.
And this is like inside of like a cave or a mountain or what's this? Our building? What is this?
It's on the red rocks. They built a building right off of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful place. State of the art. And I walk in and I just felt called to pray, brother. And I dropped down on my knees for the first time ever. And I just started praying over breakthrough in my life. I started telling God that. I was like, this can't be life. I have the car that I want. I have the job that I wanted. I got a girlfriend. I work. I clock in. I clock out. I go home. I don't do the drugs anymore. I don't do the partying. And I'm still empty.
Wow.
I'm still empty. What's missing? Like, just bring it into my life. Like, please bring it. And just prayed for over like 30 minutes, dude. Just cried my eyes out. And that was the second that the Lord, I feel like, was like, okay, like, come, let's walk. Let's do this together. Come back down from Sedona. I start learning about the first entrepreneurial thing that ever walked in my way was trading, stocks, Forex, all that stuff. I get into trading, and that's when I first, I start meeting people. I start networking. I start learning about mindset, mentality. And first little rush of money that I made, I just felt the need to thank God for. And I felt the need that's what first called me, that I was finally doing good financially was what first called me to like, I got to go give thanks for this, you know, like I know where this is coming from. And I still remember walking to, I went to Ross or Marshall's, one of those, to like buy a new shirt and like buy new jeans. And I felt like I was getting ready for a date the first time I was going to church. And I remember talking to God clearly as I was getting ready. I'm like, God, I'm coming to see you. Like I'm coming, like this long awaited like reunion. It felt like. And found this church that I actually followed on Instagram a year or two before ever moving here called Impact Church in North Scottsdale. Yep. Back then it wasn't even half of what it is now. It was in a strip mall, fold out chairs, like 50 chairs, crazy. And I ended up showing up at that place, and that was the beginning of it all. that after that, I never missed a Sunday.
Were you you were still with your girlfriend at this time?
Yeah. Yes. So that's where the journey gets crazy, because then you think like, oh, I found God. Like, here we go. It gets easy from now. No, now it's God. Like, let's go walk through these tests. Well, he starts stripping you
and starts taking you through the fire.
Stripping everything away, taking off every branch that doesn't bear fruit, really leaving you naked. And they call him the purifier, which the analogy is that a purifier or the refiner who's refining gold is he's gonna wash you you until what? Until he sees the reflection of himself in the gold. And I feel like that's the never-ending task, and that's the never-ending project with the Lord, that he's just gonna, as many times as it takes, just put you under the water and bring you back up till he sees that reflection, the ultimate goal of seeing himself in you.
Yeah. So what? At this time, you walk in the place at Sendona. How old are you at this time?
I was about 21.
21, so you were young.
Just turned 21 because it was my birthday weekend. Yeah.
And what's crazy is, like, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people won't give themselves to God, is the fear of failure, and that relationship, and because it brings on a level of the word's coming to me wrong. It's coming to me as promise, but like, you can't let God down.
Yeah, like there's an expectation on you.
Yeah, there's an
expectation that you got to live up to.
And so that's why people don't like to give themselves to God, because there becomes a whole new expectation.
Right.
And I think, like, once you give yourself to God, I'm glad we're talking about this, but once you give yourself to God, you live at a different standard.
Yeah. You got to
There's no turning back.
Yeah.
People like my wife would say is like, you're better to not have known. It says it in the Bible, actually. You're better to not have known God than to know him and turn away.
For sure. 100%.
Because you're already, if you don't know him, you don't know what's going on. You didn't give yourself. But once you give that promise to God and said, okay, let's go for this ride.
Yep.
Now there's an expectation of God saying, okay, you know my word.
Right.
You know the promises. You know these gifts that I give, but so now it's up to us to follow through that step. So you give yourself to God. You're with this girl.
Mm-hmm. So then I see that's when I've started seeing God physically and present in my life. Like, that's when I started seeing the little things that just go over people's head, and I knew where they were coming from.
Let me stop you there real quick. I'm sorry. So, because people are going to be like, oh, this guy's crazy. Like, they do this.
Right.
So when you say, Zion's laughing. When you say, like, you seen God, like, you didn't see some man. Did you see some man? Like a black or white guy?
Nah, or never seen him.
Okay, we just want to clear that up.
Yeah, no, never seen him, but
because God comes in different ways, right? The presence of God.
But he's just talked to me. He's just talked to me, and no, I haven't heard him either. But he
uses people.
Me.
He uses things.
Of course,
he uses a rock, use a donkey, use everything.
Right, and once you see him use people, you'll see how he uses you. Like, I've seen him. Like, I've had to tell people, like, this isn't even me talking to you, dude. This is God placing things in my heart for me to come talk to you.
Totally.
Right now. You know? That year, then I come back and, man, I had this big idea of what I could do in the restoration industry. I wanted to, I was a technician back then, dude. Like, I'm making $10-15 an hour. This place floods. I'm the guy tearing up the drywall. I'm the one underneath your kitchen sink.
For everyone listening, dirty. He's a technician. That's a fancy word for laborer.
That's a hard labor. That's all I was doing. I was in the poop water. I was in the hoarder houses, man. Like,
wow,
it was crazy.
That's cool. That's good though.
I earned my stripes. I was working. I learned what hard work was. I learned what it was to work for your money. I learned what it was to roll up your sleeves and not be ashamed of what you do either. A lot of people, they're not proud of what they do, like, you could be a waiter, you could be whatever, dude, until you wear that thing with the proudest hat and chest.
Rocket, that's paying you right now.
Right, God put that in your blood. You're not being grateful for what God gave you, and it wasn't until I found my purpose in that job, my calling in that job, my appreciation for that job, that God started letting me level up within that range, and ultimately outside of that range into becoming who I am today. I knew that I wanted to go from laborer to project manager. I wanted to go from doing the work to managing the company. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. Once again, I just like, God, you can do this. I know you can do this for me. And I knew that the caveat was, like, I got to put in work myself. I got to work on myself. That year, man, I saw God in ways where it was crazy. The days where you don't have money for lunch and then your coworker pays for your meal.
Yeah, he just supplies.
The day where you don't know when the bill's gonna get paid and you get a bonus from work and you go pay your bills comfortably. Those are situations that God can't show you how big He is, how present He really is, until He puts you in those situations, you know? And I was blessed that I was not only seeing it in my life, but I brought one of my best friends from Puerto Rico at the time as well, to live over here with me, and he was working with me. And I've been blessed not to only see God's work on my life, but in others more than they see it themselves. Like, I see the provision there for them, and they're just like, oh, this is all I get to eat today. I'm like, no, I know why you're eating that. I know where that came from. Like, I see God work in your life sometimes more clearly than you even do.
Yeah.
And as I drive closer to the Lord, a year goes by. I head back up to Sedona in May. So this is like a journey. Every May I go back over there. I'll go once a year, like to rest and whatnot. But around my birthday, I always end up over there. And I ended up over there, and I walk up to, this time I know where I'm going. I know with the intention I'm going. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, God, you did it. Like, what I prayed, I found you. I go to church. I have friends. I go out to eat. Like, I don't feel dead inside. I feel alive. I started getting raises at work because I was walking in with like a better energy, just
Confidence.
more enthusiastic. And I was like, you're doing it, God. Like, I see you. I believe. I believe. Like, you've done it. Do this for me now. Please help me break through in my career, my profession. Take me to the next level here. Once again, I come back down and I think, oh, I prayed for it easy, right? For the new to emerge, the old has to collapse. So now when things fall apart in my life, I don't stress. How are you going to pray for a new life and be surprised when your old one is teared to pieces? Like, that's God giving you the chance to go form this new one right there. So I come back down from Sedona, and the old franchise owner who I worked for sold the franchise. He just walks in one day. He's like, hey, these are your new owners. I'm out. I'm going to still be around, but it's not me no more. He sold the franchise to the owners of the 5 largest franchises across the nation. So the thing just went from little franchise in North Tempe with just me underneath the kitchen sink to a huge franchise, like work trucks, a big 25,000 square foot warehouse, like just overnight. And same, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, here comes the project manager position. No, another year of hard work, trying to prove myself, trying to show myself, countless hours, endless nights, just like I said, doing all the dirty work. And year later, boom, I was like, God, you're doing it. Like, I see what you're doing. I went from the little franchise to the big franchise. I'm getting raises at work. Like, I'm moving on upwards in life. But I want that position, God. Like, I want that. I want to be a project manager. I want my career. I want to be on the top level. Come back down, and my girlfriend leaves me. The girlfriend at the time.
I knew it was coming.
So, yeah. The heartbreak was what started it.
It's coming.
That's when I was like, okay, like, what now? You know, like, you hear about all these men of value and like high value men and the providers and this and that. And I didn't feel like I embodied any of that. And I was like, I got to go to work with myself. My old roommate used to work out, and he left this jug of pre-workout, or this like tub of pre-workout there in the counter. And one day, man, I just walked up to my apartment at 10 p.m. latest, like so late. And I was like, you know what? Let me go give this whole working out thing a try. Let me take some of this pre-workout and bring a speaker.
What, did you say 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.?
10 p.m. I'm taking pre-workout. Yeah, I couldn't sleep, brother. I could not sleep.
That's what I asked. Yeah. I was like, what time?
10 p.m., brother. And I took my speaker to the gym. I posted a story because I was just like having fun, turned the music up. I didn't even know what I was doing in that gym. And I just started going at it. And then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And man, first it started, I saw it before anybody did. I started losing a little bit of weight. And I remember just like telling my coworkers, I'm losing weight. Everybody was like, yeah, like, sure, you know, like kind of like dismissing it at first. And little by little, it was then my other coworkers were like, oh no, like, I can see it. Like, you've lost like 20 pounds. Like, you're feeling it. I was feeling myself. And then I remember the first time I showed somebody a picture, and I was like, and even me, I was like, whoa, I look different. And they were like, wait, you're a different person already. I was like, whoa. And I didn't know the power of what I was doing. And that was only like 30 pounds in. So I was just at the beginning of it all. But that fueled me to go. That made it go from like, oh, I'm doing this over a breakup to like, no, I got something special in my hands here. I'm doing this for me.
For you, yeah.
And that's what I tell people too. Like I'll have people that come in, clients and whatnot. And they're like, oh, I'm doing this and doing that. And yeah, 'cause you won't get fit for yourself. You're getting fit for the reason that made you get fit. That's why you go back to whatever you were at before. Because you haven't made that committed decision that you got to do this for yourself. So once I flipped that gear and I started doing it for myself, that's when the real transformation came across. That's when my body followed the mind. It all started in my mind, then the body just followed. And man, a year later, 90 pounds later, I was showing up to work. Who shows up to work better? We're all clocking in at 7:30. The guy who woke up at 5 busted a workout and is already freaking protein shaking,
ready to go,
like shirt tucked in, clean cut, put it in front of me, I'm gonna kill it. Or the guy who just woke up 30 minutes ago, got ready, and you know, made
burrito stains on his shirt.
Right, exactly. Eating a breakfast burrito in the meeting and whatnot. Or vice versa, when you're clocking out at 4:30, the guy who's going to go clock out, drink a beer, smoke a joint, or the guy who's going to clock out, go to the gym and work on himself, you know? And I was just that guy working on myself endlessly, till I got that promotion that I wanted, man. And that's it. That was it. I was like, whoa, now I got the promotion, you know? And I was like, found myself in another situation where, like, God, I went back to Sedona, and I was like, God, I got the job I wanted. I got the position I wanted. The financial part of it is there now. Like, what now? You know, like, what happens now? I thought I kind of ran out of ink in my pen. And that's when, for the first time in my life since college, because high school, I already knew what college was going to look like. College, yeah, a year of like this and that. But once I moved to Arizona, I already knew what that season was going to look like. This time was like, I don't know what else to write, what other part of the story I write here. Because once I got this position to me, I was like, okay, I got the job, I find a wife, I retire one day, like I keep doing this over and over again. I didn't know the calling he had over my life. And that's when I wanted to like level up in the terms of this year. I went from my little home gym to working out at a commercial gym. I just went to EOS. And I started just by looking up videos, looking up in the internet, like, what do I do today? Turning my back against the wall so people wouldn't see that I'm like looking up the workouts as I'm doing them. And I went at it. I started learning how to work out, what to put in my body, what worked, what didn't work, trial and error, you know. And once I leveled up career-wise, I wanted life to kind of level up outside of work. So I found a beautiful gym called Track Club, downtown Phoenix. Best gym in Arizona, hands down. I've been through a lot of them, but that place is home. And it was home before it was ever my workplace. I came to this place, and that's kind of where I ended finding myself. I went from kind of like just losing all the weight to getting in shape, to meeting a lot of influential people, networking, making more connections. Finding the love of my life in there. And it's just been like a new chapter in my life that started in that place. And through that place is where somebody approached me, told me like, you got to use your story for something bigger than you know? And that's when I was like, okay, like that makes sense. You know, I could do this. Started working with a personal training company. I was with them for about a year, mostly focused on the aspect of sales in reality. And, eventually God moved the pieces around and was like, no, you got to touch people directly. And eventually I made it to the floor, started training people. And that's when I found out I really knew what I was doing. Like, one thing is to know how to do something with yourself. You really know what you're doing when you can do that for somebody else. Yeah. That's when I was like, okay, like, not only have I done it, but this girl looks different in 90 days. This person feels different. This person not only leveled up physically, but as I did too, they're leveling up outside of work. They're buying houses. They're making better decisions. They're not partying. They're not doing this. So I'm just seeing everything in me, in them. And that's when I became aware. And I found the gift that God placed in my life, which was just touching people. I like, going back to like, as you were coming up and I've talked about this several times on the podcast, you were chasing the position. And I tell everyone all the time, chase the position, don't chase the money. Because when you chase the money comes greed. Right. Greed sets in, you're always chasing money. Then you start doing stuff that's unethical. Right. We've hired so many people that
chase money.
Right.
And I know who they like. I kind of know, and I take a chance on them, you know.
Right.
And they all have done unethical things to us, to the company. Every one of them that would always, I need a raise, I need this. It's all about money, all about money. And I tell these young guys, like, listen, the same way you're talking is chase that position. If you got a job, chase the position, because with the position comes the knowledge.
Right.
And once you grab that knowledge, then the money will come, and no one can take that.
Right.
No one can take your knowledge.
Right. And that's something I've carried with me forever, because unfortunately the business where I first started working in, it was very money driven.
Yeah.
And that's a tough position to be in when you're supposed to be at the service of people and touching people and helping people. You as a personal trainer, as anybody that serves people, cannot be focused on money at all, because your product, your clients they're people. You're not giving them a physical product. You're not this. So you shouldn't be worried about the sales. You shouldn't be worried about the income. You should be worried about how many people can God bring to your life this week so you can change your life. That's gonna pay the bills.
Yeah.
Don't chase, I need money to pay the bills. I need to find 5 lives. I need to change these lives. I need to do this. That equals that by itself.
And plus, like, when you're chasing money, and this is just my thought, you know, a wealthy person can tell me something different.
Right.
Is you're never satisfied, and it's never enough, right? Which, same thing I just said twice. But, like, it's never going to be enough. And the same thing going back to, like, people we've hired or employees we have now and stuff. And, you know, and I'll ask them, well, let's go through your bills.
Right.
Let's go through your life. Let's see, you know, you're spending everything you have. I can give you another $1,000 a week.
You're going to find where to spend
You're going to spend that too.
Yeah.
You haven't figured out a way to even save a buck, to invest a buck, whatever it is, however that looks.
Right.
You know, and you know, how you're saying is, my wife says this saying is, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you live a sloppy life, it rolls into every area of your life. Like,
for sure.
If you're dirty at home, you know, your clothes are dirty, your kids are dirty, you know, the dirt shows up.
Right. It does.
You know what I mean? You look at people's cars, they're filthy.
Right.
You know, I'm not knocking on anyone who has a filthy car. My truck's not the cleanest, but it's pretty decent.
And it usually translates into other areas of their life.
Oh, the whole life.
Yeah.
And the mess doesn't have to be physical, like debris.
Right.
That means relational mess, financial mess, spiritual mess, like everywhere.
And the thing is, once you're around high frequency people of higher levels, people smell that.
Yeah.
People will see patterns in you. People will see behaviors in you. And they already know, oh, he's like this there. He's probably like that in this other area.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can usually gauge them. And so, like, for us, you know, I believe, like, so the main thing I do is extreme drywall, extreme painting. That's our main bread and butter business. We're stewards, right? And so this is our marketplace. So we're almost like, I'm an ordained pastor. My wife runs our church.
Wow.
And so I'm almost some people would say I'm the pastor of my business.
Right.
Because we live the life. People know that they'll come to us and pray, get prayed for. They'll come and talk to me about their marriage issues, all kinds of issues, different things. Then they come with celebrations, you know, wins, and so, like, we have a higher standard. So when I talk to all these young guys, I'm like, let's clean up your life.
Right.
You know, don't worry about work yet. I want you to do best at home.
Right.
I want you to stop going to the bar.
Right.
I want you to stop cheating on your wife.
Right.
And your girlfriend.
Right.
Because they have both.
Right.
You know, some of these guys is crazy.
Yeah.
And if we can work on people and teach them, and like you said, is teach people to be givers. Right. You know, because, like,
be at service.
Man, the biggest proponent I tell people to do in life is to give. Right. Like, if we give, you know, if we sow seeds, we sow seeds. If I sow a seed in you and somebody else comes and plants that seed, everything starts growing, everybody reaps the harvest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's when you change your mindset, like you're saying, and we start to make changes in our lives, then we start to understand, and then purpose starts to kick in. Right. That's what was happening with you. Right. That's what's happening with you.
Right, exactly. That's how I found purpose. And like we said, God had to strip all these things before he could ever give me the purpose, before he could ever give me the thing that was going to be it, you know?
Well, and so I think, like, God will give us what we can handle. Right. Right? We all want to handle more. Right. And sometimes we get it. but we
mess it up.
We fumble that stuff and drop it. You know what I mean? Like a dozen eggs dropping all over the floor. You know, we'll mess it all up. Yeah. But I'm a firm believer of he'll give us what we can handle, and that's ours. Right. Right. And then we show him we can handle it, kind of like the parables. Yeah. Right. Well, two of them. The third one couldn't handle nothing. He couldn't do nothing. But so, like, if we show we can handle more, then more comes. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? And so that's that's the journey you're going on. It's so cool, dude. Right. It's so cool to hear this journey.
And that's exactly it. That's how I kind of came into this new step of my journey, which is I was training people in person. And obviously your time is you can only train so many people. You can only touch so many lives at once. And once I found myself in like, oh, what's next? You know, how do I touch hundreds of people rather than just 10, 15? My business partner and mentor who I work with outside of the fitness space, he came into my life as I kind of started my own business and kind of stepped in, and he's just like seeing the vision. It's beautiful to have a mind similar to yours, seeing things from a different place, you know, because they tend to see blind spots. They tend to see
because you're in it, and they're looking over your shoulder. They can see, exactly. They have a bigger view,
and somebody with more experience, you know, somebody who's at a higher level than you as well. And I remember showing him pictures and videos of like, hey, look, this girl told me that she lost 8 pounds. This girl told me that she can now have a baby. She couldn't expect babies before. And he goes, well, beautiful. Imagine if you got 100 of those messages instead of 2. And that's when he kind of opened this door of me going into an online space where now I can train people wherever they are online, give them their workouts, their diet, just give them the same gift that I have. Just, I can't touch you in person, but I can still provide and help you with the tools that you need.
So with the online did you create videos, or how did this work? Did you buy?
So right now there's software that you can buy that you can create custom workout programs for them, and it comes with videos and whatnot.
Is that what yours is?
Yeah.
So if I for someone listening or myself, we go. What's the name of the software? The app?
It's called Cisco Garcia Fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, like I said, I'm under subscription with that software.
Yeah.
So I assign you a program through the software and whatnot.
Okay. So you're using the big platform, and you can You can send stuff to your customers.
Exactly. I send them the workouts. I send them the diet. Cool. We check in weekly. Video calls, phone calls, everything. And then when they are in person in Arizona, or when they're local, not in person, I bring them into the gym at least once a month, so we can just like do this, like break bread, be together, grow, connect, get to know each other at a deeper level, you know?
I like that. I like the changes that you made, because so many people are so afraid to make these changes.
Right.
Because like you said, there was periods of time where you went through this refinery, when you went through the fire, when you know, and you feel you're getting burned, you're getting beat up, you're getting battered, and that's when people quit.
Right.
You know, and you're like, and in my opinion, looking from afar, is that was making you grow closer to God.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. That I've been blessed that through the journey, like I said, from that first year, I've just heard him and seen him so clearly, so like he's been so audible in my life. Like I remember tearing drywall up at a house till 10 p.m. because we got to work overtime, and just me listening to worship music and having that carry me through the day, knowing that the stuff being sang in these songs is something that I can like completely embody and relate to, rather than, we hear rap songs and all this reggaeton and all that, but you can't relate to a rapper saying he spent this, he's on a private jet, he's on doing this. But you can relate to God saying that he's going to make dry bones walk and sing, and you can relate to God saying that you are mental health restored. Yes, sir. So what's the other one, the Brandon Lake one, where I've seen cancer disappear, I've seen mental health restored, I'm a prodigal return.
Yeah, it's a really good song.
When you can really embody all those things and be like, wait, that's me, like God's saying that. That's when, like I said, it's through the journey, he's just been so present there, showing me signs, showing me by music, by some of these little Instagram posts. Like God's just spoken to me so clearly. And that's what I was telling my mentor and partner the other day, that I was like, dude, I can't wait once this journey's done to meet God in person, or like for face to face, to be face to face with my Creator, and for all those feelings to be validated of like, it was you all along sending those messages. It was you keeping me straight. It was you, like I knew it. You know?
Can't you know what's fascinating about your story is, you recognize it. You recognized it in the walk, and you recognize it right now.
Right.
There's so many people, and like, they're close to you, they're close to me, different people that, like you said, your friends, like, they don't recognize God's blessing them.
Yes.
It's like those stories you hear, those jokes where, like, and I'm gonna say it wrong, but like, where like someone's in a boat and they ask God for this, and God keeps sending people. He's like, I sent this person, I sent that person, I sent this person.
And they didn't see it.
They told them go away or whatever. Right. And we tell people all the time, my wife and myself and my in-laws, we're kind of all think the same.
Right.
Our parents. It's like, man, you guys don't even get it.
You're not aware.
You don't even get it. You don't see, like, God blessed you with this food. God gave you this car. God did this for your kids. But the problem with a lot of people is they're so focused about looking at other people and judging other people, that they miss what's actually happening in their own lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they miss the glory of God and what God's trying to do in their life. Right. And so then they're complaining every year. Oh, I've been praying, I've been tithing, I've been doing, nothing's happening.
You haven't had gratitude though. Well, you haven't been grateful for what you already have.
Yeah, and you're not being a good steward over it.
Right.
Like, He gave you the apartment or the house or the beater car, whatever it is.
Right.
And you didn't even take care of it. Right. You didn't care.
What do you expect? How do you pray for more? How do you pray for a better job when you're sick and tired of this one? You show up with a bad attitude every day.
Yeah.
How do you pray for a better car when you're not taking care of what He gave you?
When I was younger, and before I started the company, I got really good in the industry, kind of like yourself, and I would never do side jobs or take anything from the last company I was with. I was with them almost 6 years, and all the guys would be like, "Why don't you do this and why don't you do that?" And I would always tell them, because I'm gonna own my own thing one day. Right. And so I needed to respect what was this man's. Right. And in order for me to understand that respect for when God gave it to me, how important it was to steward over. Right. You know what I mean? And so when people steal from me or lie to me or whatever they do, whatever, it's I always tell people, they're like, "Aren't you mad? He stole this and he did this and he did that." I'm like, it hurts, because I love that person. They're around me for a year or 2 years, whatever it was, and I go, but it's gonna hurt them more. They stole 5,000 from me or 10,000 or whatever. I go, but imagine if God, if something happens to their grandchildren and that 10 is tenfold, and now the grandchild loses 100 grand because of their actions. Because that's what happens. We're sowing seeds. Right. This is legacy. Right. You know what I mean? This is going back to the praise and worship songs is like, and your children's children and your children's children, the blessing. Right. And that's why we got to make the right decisions in life. We can be like, "Oh, this is a boring podcast," but the reality is this is a real podcast right now, because we're talking real facts. You know what I mean? And especially right now, in the world we're in right now, we need God the most. Yeah. The most. It's chaotic. It's crazy. You got boys being girls and girls being boys and boys in girls sports, and the girls and boys sports that's cool. That doesn't do nothing, but because they're being girls in boy sports. Right. They're not boys becoming girls in girl sports. Right. You just got weird stuff happening, and that's where we need, I'm pushing a lot of God on Instagram. Here in the office, it's like we have to push this, because we got to think about the children and the children's children. Right. You have kids? No, not yet, right? Yeah. I didn't think so. Yeah. Do you plan on having kids?
A lot.
Yeah. You better start. You better start now, bro.
I'm gonna wait till 30, 31.
How old are you right now? 27? 28? Okay.
28, yeah.
That's a good number. Be established. I started real young, but yeah, it's the things that are happening. It's gonna affect our grandchildren, right? And I'm glad that you're talking about God right now, and in your posts, and I think you're on your description, it says God first or something like that, because it's important, dude. It's so important.
That's where it all stems from. None of this would be possible without Him, and it's a matter of recognizing it. And like you said, if we're good stewards, He blesses us with more. When God sees that He's going to get something out of blessing you, He'll bless you. Like that's one of my biggest lessons. Would God get anything if he blesses you with the life you're praying for? Because he's gotten a lot out of blessing me with everything that he's given me.
Yeah,
You know, he gets recognition. I bring people to him. I help people find their way towards him. So if God isn't getting anything out of what you're praying for, it might not be likely that you get it. And vice versa, when God is just, like you said, you plant the seed and he's just reaping the benefits, why wouldn't he bless you with more? Why wouldn't you, if you were already blessing and guiding people by showing them when you were in the field, why wouldn't he bless you with your company so that then you can go bless these people? You know, why wouldn't he bless you with an opportunity like this to go share with more people?
Yeah. And the blessings, like when you're saying this, it's like we have to, like, being a giver, like, is part of the blessing.
Right.
Like, our phones, my wife's phone says, her name is Felicity. Felicity is highly favored. So like she has, like, we have titles for all of our names and stuff. It's like prayer. And then mine is Chris Estrada, the blessed one. Right. And because I want to be blessed.
Right.
Right. And I want people to know, like, that they can trust me.
Right.
You know, like, you could give me $100,000, I wouldn't spend any of it.
Right.
You know, it's the truth.
Being a steward.
You know, and that God loves, like you said, God loves that. And people are like, well, where's God at? Where's this? What's that? Right. Why don't you challenge them?
Right.
Why don't you start giving and watch them multiply?
Right.
Watch the seeds grow. Watch, you know, it's, I tell people, like, we give so much. We give a lot, dude, like, all over the place.
Yeah.
And churches, organizations, donations, people, everywhere. And I tell people, like, it's like I'm a farmer,
right? And
I'm just planting seeds now everywhere. And some, you know, maybe I'll get, like, you know, 2 oranges over here, or maybe I get a whole crop over here, and maybe I get this over here. Right. Maybe I don't get anything from this, but my grandchild gets it. Right. You know, and it's just about sowing seeds, and they'll grow. Right. They'll grow.
And you just never know how much they'll grow.
Yeah, and like. So I tell people, like, and I'm a firm believer of this, is if you sow into where you want to grow, that's the fastest way to get to where you want to go. Right. Right. And so if, like, for me, you know, I want to keep going in business, right? So I have to sow into people that are, like, maybe not doing, like, barely coming up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I sow into them. God rewards me. Someone sows into me that's way bigger than me. Right. Right. That's the way it is. Right. That's you know, this is like what's and you, in my opinion, like, everything's a negotiation. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you got up, you negotiate in your mind to get up to whatever your next move was. Right. Either get up or hit the snooze button, whatever. Right. And I think, like, with God, we can negotiate with God. Yeah. Right. And God only wants his portion. Right. But so you don't negotiate, like, the tithe. You don't negotiate the 10%. Say, God, I'm going to give you 8%. Right. But what you can negotiate is the 90%. Right. You know, and so everybody thinks, well, the 90%, if I have $1,000, I give God $100, that's 90%. Right. And so they stick to that theory. But if God says, I want 10%, you get to keep the 90%. He's telling you get to keep the 90%. Right. So what if you gave $200? Right. He's going to give you the 90% no matter what. Right. Of $200. Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
How much more do you want to give?
How much more do you want to give? Right. It's a principle. Giving is a biblical principle that has stood the test of time, and that the wealthiest people thrive on. Yeah. They're the biggest givers. Yeah. People talk crap about, you know, they're filthy rich and they're this and that. They're the biggest givers. Right. Biggest givers. I don't care who it is. You can name the baddest.
That's easy to say from the outside. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Till you've met real people, till you've sat down. Usually those people that are talking about that type of level, people haven't sat down and had dinner with people of that caliber, with people of that are in that level. You know? Yeah. But once you've sat down at a couple tables, you've broken bread with people like that, and you've met both good people that are at that level and both bad people that are at that level, you know? You start learning that there's real people, that most of these people do have God in their lives. Most of these people, everything they do have came from God. Most of these people understand and are aware of the mission that they have in their hands, of their calling in their lives, of their impact in the world. They're aware. They're aware, and they're not blessed for giggles. They're blessed for a reason.
For a reason.
If there's somebody around you that's at a higher level than you, God has a calling over their life for sure.
Yeah. You know what else that I recommend to you or anybody else watching is when someone impacts your life or like sows into your life, bless them with something. Bless them with like whatever you think, like, because that's like the whole, like the thankfulness. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people that take, right, and they don't show the thankfulness. So like we would go to, my wife and myself would go to, we'd go to like a lot of, we haven't went to one for about a year and a half, 2 years, but a lot of Christian leadership conferences. Okay. And big business people doing hundreds of millions of dollars, but they're all Christian, you know. And like we would get impacted, and we started doing this years ago. You know, maybe there was a speaker on the stage, or maybe we met somebody, right, you know, and they impacted us. I'd go back and either I'd buy them food. I give like a speaker that impacted me, I'd walk over and give them a $5,000 check. I'm sowing into their life. Right, right. I want to be part of that growth, that right, whatever it is, right, I just want to be part of it. And they impacted my life forever. Right. You know what I mean? And so more people got to be thankful that way. You don't have to give a $5,000 check. Right. Just give. Be thankful. Yeah. Just give something, you know, give something, you know. Yeah. I like it. So going back to your fitness, like, dude, you're yoked. You're big.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So I've been on this journey. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen a little bit. I lost probably about 30 pounds now. Nice. I'm working out, getting stronger. Good. You know, I hadn't worked out in, 10, 15 years. You know.
Just carried away with the business.
Yeah, dude. You just keep going. You just keep going. Tired. Just keep going. It's not a priority. Right. And then, for me, last year I had got like 2 slip discs. You know, I'm still fat, but I was fatter. And I'm a smaller guy, you know what I mean? I'm not like a big guy. So like the weight was heavy and it was messing up my back, you know? And so I was like, you know what? I gotta start losing weight. I gotta get fit, you know? And so, a young man that's like a family friend of ours, he's like, Chris, I'll come to your house 3 days a week and, throw me a few bucks to help me. Right. And, I'll get you whipped out. And so we've been doing it, bro. And I feel so good.
Right. How much better is everything now that you do that? Dude, how much better are your relationships?
Waking up earlier.
Clear-minded.
I'm primed. Yeah. You know, like, no matter what, even like if I'm tired, I'm getting at least, like I'm going to get like some pre-workout in, like at least 15 minutes on the treadmill. Right. At the very minimum. Right. Right. You know, I got to get like, just get my body hot. Right. And not like, but obviously I'll do more, but like I always tell myself, just get on the treadmill. Right.
You got to have a roof and you got to have a ceiling and a floor. Technically, you got to have something where on your best day, boom, you worked out, you woke up at 5, you got your workout in, you hit all your meals, boom, you're primed, you're good, you're ready to go. Then you got to have a floor, which is your non-negotiable, which is like, I didn't get to be up here today, but at least I'm meeting this expectation that I have for myself. This is my bare minimum. And that still will be enough and better than a day where you didn't do anything.
Yeah. What do you say to like people that, they are struggling, because, maybe like they don't want to get up or they can't go to the gym because of their work hours. What do you say to that type of person? Like, what do you suggest?
Well, it's all a matter of priorities. Nobody has more time in the day than another person, It's definitely not for everybody. That's something I've learned. There's some people that are just meant to stay where they are, Some people will die in that comfort and they'll be okay there. But there's those that do have that voice inside of them saying, like, I know I should have gotten up. I know I should follow that voice. Listen to that conviction, And, man, there's always going to be excuses like, I don't have time, work, my schedule, my energy, everything. There's going to be reasons. Your reasons are much stronger than excuses. You're not in shape. That's a reason. You're not happy with your life. That's a reason. You haven't attracted an ideal partner. That's a reason. Your finances aren't good. That's a reason. You're not good at your job performance. That's a reason. Reasons outweigh the excuses any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start kind of dialing in more on the reasons on why you should be doing something, then it's also very, which, like I said, in my life, in this journey of mine, this transformation, God first, and right behind it is fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Like right behind it, it's not God, then family, then no, my fitness. If me, and it looks different for everybody. Same thing, there's different levels, different everything. But if I'm not getting my mind, my body, my spirit right, everything else isn't as good as it possibly could be. Work it's not as good as it could be. Relationships aren't as good as they could be. When I take care of myself, that's what I tell my clients. Why do you train at 4:30 in the morning? Because if I haven't served myself, how am I going to serve you?
Yeah.
You know, if I haven't gotten up, woken my mind up, woken my body up, gotten ready, boom, I'm ready to go. Of course, I'm going to transfer that energy to you. Of course, you're going to feel like, let's do this. You
Totally.
know? Versus if I got out of bed at the same time as you, we both rolled into the gym. We're both as tired. We're both wiping our eye boogers off of our faces.
Yeah, just struggle.
It's a struggle. It's bad, you know?
Yeah. And when I'm tired, dude, it's struggle.
Yeah,
it's a struggle.
It is. So it all starts there. Just dial in on the reasons, not the excuses on why you can't do it, but those reasons on why you should be doing it no matter what.
What are the biggest things you see why people quit working out? Like they get started, then they quit.
Two sides of the scale. There's the ones that see the results and ultimately think working out is a very simple thing. It's not easy, but it's simple. Once you're with your trainer long enough, you'll realize like, okay, I kind of got the hang of this now, and I'm losing the weight, and I'm eating better, and I could do this on my own. That's one side of the scale. I could do this on my own. They go off. They'll tend to think that then they get hit in the face with the alarm. They snooze. Then they go ahead and get hit in the face with the cheating.
Hit a couple donuts. Yeah.
Yep, right there. And then it starts little by little, and then they're right where they started. So that's number one. It's like a millionaire who wins. You just won the lotto. You never went through the hard work. You never went through school to make money. You're not going to know how to steward that.
Yeah.
So same way a person can come in, meet a trainer, 3 months in, be 20, 30 pounds down. I already know what I'm eating. I already know how to do this, how to do that. I'm going to go do it.
I don't need you.
I don't need you. I'm going to go do it by myself. Boom. Go find out. Second side is the people who don't see the results. People who are just dialed in on the scale too much. They don't see the progress that they wish they had. They see, damn, you lost 90 in a year. Why am I only down 30? Like they're just not focused on the important things, the things that are out of their control. And that regardless of the fact whether or not they're not seeing the progress that they're wanting to see, they should still be doing these things. They should still be working out. They should still be putting good stuff in their body. So it's kind of like mostly those senses. That's mostly why people quit. Other than like life getting in their way with like circumstances and obstacles, and you know, life is going to throw its weight at you. But that's what I remember telling myself. I remember not having a car and needing to skateboard from my apartment complex to EOS 45 minutes one night only, but I did that. And I remember that night telling myself, that's why I deserve to be in shape, because I'm not letting not have a car get in my way. I'm going to go to the gym. I got out of a 12-hour shift. I'm going to go to the gym. I need a rest day. I need a rest day. Tomorrow, I'm back at it. This is not an excuse. This is a reason. I found those reasons, and I just remember that, telling myself, this is why I deserve it.
Yeah.
That's why I deserve it.
I do. What's crazy is, so he has me doing a lot of cardio things.
Good. Like
nonstop kind of repetitive circuit stuff, all that stuff.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I got to wake up. And I was thinking this right now when you're talking. I'm like, this is probably why some people quit too. Is I gotta wake up just to suffer.
Right.
You know, because you are gonna suffer. Like the pain, it's painful. Like
it is.
When you're exhausted, you can't breathe. Your legs are giving out. Your arms are giving out. Your shoulders are burnt.
Right. It never gets better. It never gets better. I'm 3 years into this thing and it doesn't get better.
Dude, I'm like always sore and stuff. I feel so good though because I wake up refreshed. I'm light. Like I need to start buying new clothes.
Right.
And I'm not even I'm not where I want to be, but I'm going there.
Right.
And I was telling Dominic, and I was like, dude, I'm excited. I'm gonna suffer today.
Right.
And he's just like laughing, like, all right, let's go.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And
you start looking forward to it at some point. At some point, you kind of get over
that's where I'm at. I'm looking forward to it, and I know it's hard because he's challenging me, or maybe my body didn't get enough sleep the night before, because I think sleep is important.
Huge.
eating the right stuff the day before, if you're going to work out, whatever, the night before. But the fitness life, I'm starting to like it.
Right.
When I was younger, I liked it, but that was many years ago. And now I'm like, I like this.
And it's all seasons, like I heard, I think it was Tom Hanks in one of the podcasts, he was saying like, this too shall pass. Like just how the bad things, this shall pass, the good things shall pass too,
Yeah.
You're going to come again into a phase where you're like, man, I'm burnt out. Like I need a week off. I need this off. Those are the times you just got to go harder and, just do more.
Yeah.
Do more and just weave it out. Weave it out little by little.
So what do you think, like, going back to where we're talking about, like, the world and stuff, what do you think about, like, the state of the world today, the politics, what's happening? Do you follow any of that stuff?
Not more than I have to. It doesn't really affect my day-to-day life, know, like who's the president, who's not the president. Maybe I'll have cheaper gas next year. Maybe interest rates will drop, like whatever. It's my walk has always just been, I've learned to just walk it with the Lord and just take my day with the Lord.
Yeah.
So as far as politics and whatnot, which is crazy because I grew up around politics. I went to school for political studies. I wanted to be a politician or some kind of public servant one day. And
you are a public servant.
Yeah. I thought I'd wear a suit and a tie and sit behind a desk at a government office or something like that. And that ended up not being the case. And yeah, I've just kind of like deviated from that. But the world's definitely in a chaotic state. And I think in the times we're living in, let alone what we went through with like COVID and whatnot, we just realize how much that chaotic state of the world impacts people as individuals and what it does to people and what that feeds into kind of like the agenda of what they want to happen.
Yeah. Do you think though, like a certain like that the views of say a Democrat versus Republican coincide with like the biblical views and what's happening today? Like
I completely think so. I think everything that we are going through is in scripture for sure. I think the separating of the masses, like driving masses against each other, playing with our food, playing with everything that we put in our body, playing with what we see in television, with the agenda that we're pushing on kids now on TV shows, on
it's crazy,
cartoons,
in
on
books,
everything,
in schools,
everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it is all directly correlated to God and its times.
So if we think that way, then do you think it matters if on our political view, and if we should vote?
I think
this is your opinion, not mine.
Right,
it's
right.
just your opinion.
I think it matters in the sense of like the physical things. Like, of course, if I think this person is watching more for my interests in the physical world, and this person has at least more of what I want in mind, like there's going to be decisions made off of me voting for this person that are going to positively impact my daily life.
Yeah.
Then of course go for it. But as long as you're clear with the Lord, at least me, I've never felt the need to vote.
Yeah.
I've never felt the need. It all started for me with the controversial topic of like Puerto Rico being a state or not, because Puerto Ricans can vote for primaries, but we can't vote for the election, which to me was just so like contradicting. And
right now anybody can vote, I think, or it's about close to anybody.
No, but Puerto Rico's if you're a resident of Puerto Rico, you don't vote for the national election.
Only if you cross the border through med school.
Right. If I come over here, I'm in school, whatever, then I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's where I was like, so my mom back there, she can vote for primaries, but not for the election. Like that's kind of stupid. And that's when I realized, like, dude, like, yeah, you can kind of put your weight on that, but you getting cheaper gas or your tank of gas being full next week depends more on God's provision over your life rather than the person you're voting for.
What about like some of these policies with children, like we're talking about? Do you think that, like, do you think man can interfere with what God's trying to do?
It can do its best. It can do its best to try. You know, so therefore it would be smart to vote for a person that has your best interests in mind. You know, the person who's gonna push the agenda of what you want to see come to fruition. Yeah. I like it, dude. I like it. I'm so proud of you. I mean, I'm just meeting you. Thank you.
But, you know, great story, dude. Like,
I appreciate it.
You know, it's everybody's story is different, and you went through your trying times, and look where you're at, dude. You're running, you know, a fitness. You got basically a fitness club,
right?
You know, you got a home gym that you don't even have to buy. You don't have to buy any of the equipment. You use their equipment. You pay them a fee.
Right.
You got an app that you didn't have to create that you can give to all your customers, and you're changing people's lives.
God blesses you.
Dude, you're changing people's lives.
Yeah.
It is so crazy, like what God has given you, the tools He's given you to change people's lives, and not only like change them with money, but physically. And the physicality becomes the mental side.
Yes.
People are walking with their heads held high because of you.
Right. It's a blessing.
What a blessing.
It's a blessing.
What a blessing,
It's a very
man.
big gift.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Where can everybody follow you?
Social media, Cisco Garcia.fit. That is the Instagram. There's a link in my bio if you ever need to book a call with me. I'm here to help. I'm looking for a lot of lives to touch, souls to speak to, and just to help guide anybody wherever they're at, whether it's fitness, whether it's outside of fitness. I'm just here to help, here to be what I can for you guys. So CiscoGarcia.fit. You'll find me there. Book a call with me. Hit my DMs. I'm always open. I'm here. Just whatever you guys need. I'm happy to help.
This dude is rocking it in the fit world. Like if you look at his Instagram, the before and afters, he's got the customers, his clients, he's on there. Hit him up and support this guy, right? And also support us in our podcast. Like and subscribe to everything we're doing. Follow us. Put comments, right?
Right.
We want comments.
Engage with people.
Engage.
Let us know we're not too crazy with the things we're talking about.
Yeah.
Shows that there's people out there that see life through the same lens that we see it. Because it's awesome to find people like this that you can have these conversations and be like, oh, this guy's kind of crazy. You know?
Well, and think about this, like the when I first started doing this journey, it was to show people like, hey, if I can start a business and be successful in that world, in this world I'm in, so can you.
Right.
You're showing people, hey, if I can get super fit and live a life and go through these couple things, so can you. And that's what this is about. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe us. Be blessed.